What happens when one of Christian television's most powerful networks starts threatening ministers, bullying guests, and turning family against family? You're either a friend or an enemy. That's what one Daystar executive allegedly told a well-known pastor, because he refused to help spin a story. Now, together with another whistleblower, they are pulling back the curtain on Daystar TV, and what they reveal will shock you. This isn't just about family drama. This is about power, intimidation, and the dark side of the charismatic industrial complex. Hello, Anointed One, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're diving deep into explosive allegations that have rocked the Christian broadcasting world. Two separate whistleblowers have come forward with damning stories about Daystar Television Network, stories of manipulation, threats, and behind-the-scenes betrayal that paint a disturbing picture of how power operates in religious media. If you're new here, we cover the stories that matter in Christian media, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell because this story is just getting started. Before we get into these bombshell revelations, let me set the stage. Daystar TV is one of the largest Christian television networks in the world, reaching millions of viewers. But behind the cameras, a family feud has erupted that's torn the network apart. On one side, you have Joni Lamb, the network's president, and her new husband, Doug Weiss. On the other side, Jonathan and Susie Lamb, Joni's son and daughter-in-law, who have made serious allegations about covering up abuse involving Joni's granddaughter. The police investigation into these allegations was recently closed, and that's where our first whistleblower story begins. Our first whistleblower comes to us through Candy Chad, who dropped this bombshell on Twitter. And let me tell you, this exposes the ugly machinery of damage control in Christian media. According to Chad, Rachel Lamb Brown, that's Joni's daughter, has been running what can only be described as a pressure campaign. She's been contacting well-known ministers affiliated with Daystar, essentially demanding they publicly support Pete, the person Jonathan and Susie accused of abuse, now that the police case has been closed. But here's where it gets really disturbing. When one prominent minister, and Chad says we'd all know his name, refused to play ball, Rachel Lamb Brown lost it. She told him he was either a friend or an enemy. Think about that for a second. In Rachel's world, you're either with them completely or you're the enemy. There's no middle ground for integrity or conscience. But it gets worse. She then bragged about how Daystar has the best lawyers in the country. That's not just a boast, that's a threat. The subtext is crystal clear: cross us and we'll destroy you legally. Chad points out something crucial here. This behavior isn't new for Daystar. She says they have a history of using powerful connections, donor-funded platforms, lawfare, and intimidation to control the narrative. Think about what that means. Donors who think they're supporting Christian ministry are actually funding a legal war chest used to silence critics and control the story. That's your money being weaponized against truth-tellers. But if you think that's shocking, wait until you hear our second whistleblower story. This one was shared by the Twitter account NowThis254, and it reveals just how toxic the atmosphere at Daystar has become. An anonymous ministry leader, someone running a smaller, lesser-known organization, was invited to appear on Daystar's Ministry Now program. For them, this was huge. Getting on Daystar could transform their ministry overnight. But what they encountered when they arrived wasn't the God-fearing television hosts they expected. Instead, they walked into what can only be described as a gossip session straight out of a high school cafeteria, except these were supposed to be Christian leaders. Joni Lamb and Doug Weiss spent their time off-camera doing what? Trashing Jonathan and Susie Lamb, Joni's own son and daughter-in-law. They spoke relentlessly, belittling the couple and speaking ill of their own family. Let that sink in. A grandmother and her new husband on a Christian television network spending their time gossiping about and slandering her own son and his wife. This is the kind of behavior that would get you removed from leadership in most churches. But at Daystar, it's apparently just another day at the office. The ministry guest hadn't even heard about the family drama before this visit. They went home, did their research, and discovered the serious allegations about cover-ups. Despite the potential financial benefits of working with Daystar, they made the moral choice to walk away. But here's where this story takes a truly sinister turn, and it reveals the real power structure we're dealing with. When this small ministry shared their experience with others, just telling the truth about what they witnessed, somehow Daystar found out. And what happened next should terrify anyone who cares about religious freedom or basic human decency. Daystar began threatening them. Let me repeat that. Daystar Television Network, a supposedly Christian organization, began threatening a small ministry for simply sharing their truthful experience. This ministry, remember, they have a tiny budget and few resources to protect themselves, became terrified. They didn't know what Daystar might do to them. So they went into what the whistleblower calls a cleanup campaign, desperately trying to minimize any potential retaliation. Think about the power dynamic here. You have one of the largest Christian networks in the world using its resources to intimidate a small ministry into silence. This isn't Christianity. This is organized intimidation. The anonymous source puts it perfectly when they describe how the charismatic industrial complex works. Gaslight the victims, silence anyone who notices, and threaten ministries who question. This is the playbook, folks. When serious allegations surface, don't address them honestly. Instead, gaslight the victims. Make them question their own experience. Silence anyone who notices, through pressure, threats, and intimidation. Threaten anyone who dares to question the narrative. What we're seeing with these two whistleblower accounts is a pattern of behavior that should alarm every Christian. This isn't about supporting one side of a family dispute. This is about a system that prioritizes power and control over truth and integrity. When Rachel Lamb Brown tells ministers they're either friends or enemies, she's revealing a worldview where loyalty trumps conscience. When Daystar threatens small ministries for sharing their experiences, they're showing us who they really are when the cameras aren't rolling. Here's what needs to happen next. First, if you're a minister or public figure who has experienced similar pressure from Daystar or anyone else in Christian media, speak up. As Candy Chad said in her post, when one's being threatened, there are likely more. Second, if you're a donor to Daystar or any Christian media organization, ask hard questions about how your money is being used. Are you funding ministry, or are you funding a legal war chest designed to silence critics? Third, demand transparency and accountability from Christian media organizations. The body of Christ deserves better than gossip, threats, and intimidation masquerading as ministry. The anonymous ministry in our second story made the right choice. They walked away from potential financial benefits because they chose integrity over profit. We need more of that kind of moral courage in Christian media. These whistleblower accounts paint a disturbing picture of power run amok in Christian television. When family members gossip about each other on set, when ministers are pressured to publicly support accused abusers, and when small ministries are threatened for sharing their experiences, we're dealing with something that has very little to do with following Jesus. I'll keep following this story as it develops. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any updates. And let me know in the comments, have you experienced or witnessed similar behavior in Christian media? It's time to shine a light on these dark practices. Until next time, keep asking the hard questions and demanding better from those who claim to represent Christ.